What's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. And you guys know what we're here to get into. So before we do so, please go ahead and run those likes up. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Also, if you love everything that the King does here, you can always show love to the Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. Conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just how it is here on the platform. All donation information and email are in the description box below, as well as in the ticker at the bottom of the screen, scrolling from right to left. Also, shout out to all the new subbies. We are at 53.7K and counting. Teamwork make the dream work. Welcome to you all. This is an all-purpose platform. We get into sociology and spirituality and politics. I mean, we do it all, baby. There's nothing that we don't do. We gag, we roast, we get into our real life bag. I mean, all the things go down over her on Consciouztv. So welcome to you all. And once again, you guys, please run those likes up. We need all of that because you guys know that YouTube be playing on my head top when it comes to sending out those notifications faithfully. Last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be a YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. You guys know what we're here to get into. You guys have been blowing me up, girl, ever since Miss Funky and Miss Claudia reunited at this year's Essence Festival, which also is kind of making headwaves in and of its own self. People are questioning the budget level and kind of questioning why the vibes really didn't seem to be there this year. I believe Dineva, who was a host for some aspect of this year's Essence Festival, kind of clapped back on social media, speaking to those sentiments, but I haven't really been keeping up with everything that's been going on, girl. All right. So I finally had some time today because I've been planning my trip. I'm going to be out of town a lot this month. I'm going to be in Detroit. Then I'm going to be also in Philadelphia. And so I just been getting all of that prepared, girl. I've been eating my beans and weenies and doing my sit-ups, girl, so that my milkshake can continue to bring all the boys to the yard. All right. Because, oh, yes, I'm leaving it at that. So I finally had some time sitting around today and finally looked at this reunion video between Claudia and Funky, etc. And so we're going to get into it. So for those of you who've been living under a rock, okay, you guys know that Funky Dineva was once a part of a ensemble cast, better known as TGIF, which was a pop culture commentary show that was presented by Fox Soul, which is just the melanated side of Fox Network, okay? Where all things black take place. You guys know that Funky Dineva, Reynolds, Claudia Jordan had a notable chemistry They were around for years. Their show was picking up a lot of traction. There was even talks about them kind of stepping up on production level, doing in-person studio. You know, things were about to pop, lock, and motherfucking drop. And then, of course, it seems as though there's just something called a ensemble curse, and it just seems to reign. You know, it happened with the Queen's Court. It has now happened with TGIF. It happened with T on top of T. It just seems that when you get a lot of strong personalities, that it's just going to be a problem. And all it takes with a ensemble cast for things to fall completely apart is one bad apple. You don't even need 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. You just need one person, and then Destiny's Children becomes Destiny's Child. Okay? Shout out to me for being Destiny's Child. Anywho, Funky Dineva left. It was explosive. It was controversial. It had YouTube and social media and TikTok in flames. Funky Dineva made sure to leave the franchise with a lot to say, and also wanted to make it a point that TGIF could not survive without him. So he decided to also go live at the very same time, every single night, 5 days a week, that TGIF was on with his own personal commentary show on YouTube, child. You guys know that then opened up opportunity for Fox Soul producers to figure out how to supplement this, how to navigate this. There was all this PR going on. They were trying to figure out what to do. Amidst that is when I intersected with the Claudia Jordan girl. That was the foundation, okay, of our friendship, which is our friendship now, okay? And when there was conversations first taking place, actually, I ran into Claudia Jordan a while back. I ran into her actually first when we were talking about the Christian Keys drama. And she had commented under my video at that time to clarify that her and Christian Keys had never had a romantic relationship. And then we kind of stayed acquainted from there, but there wasn't a lot of interaction. So then the next time that I intersected with Claudia was when Kaboom, you know, TGIF took place and the breakdown took place, etc. You guys know that we love TGIF over here. We would oftentimes review the show, especially when things would get very spicy over there, whether it was Claudia Jordan's alleged transphobia and alleged homophobia, or whether it was Funky Dineva going in on Black women, resulting in TGIF being suspended for a damn week. You know, they used to have going on over there, child. TGIF had it going on, girl. Definitely kept the conversations conversating. All right. Now, when the breakdown took place and there was this window of opportunity, I actually had contacted Claudia Jordan and I said, look, Claudia, I think there's massive opportunity for you guys to really be able to pivot from this. I said, I think for one, you guys should definitely outsource Funky's replacement from YouTube, because that's where Funky Dineva got his niche from. That's where he got his clout from. That's his foundation. Is he's one of the founding fathers of Black YouTube. I said, so in keeping that same theme, especially since Funky brought so much to the table as an experienced commentator, as a seasoned online personality, it would be dope to kind of like pay it back or to pay it forward and to extend whatever the opportunities going forward are going to be and pull that from out of the YouTube space. From there, she liked the idea. I began to throw names out there. I wasn't even initially advocating for myself. I was throwing out a bunch of names, you know, Storm, Spill It Boy TV, blah, 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 blah. You know, there are content creators that I really like and that I personally really enjoy. I didn't even think to advocate for myself until Claudia and I did an interview, and this was in the, you know, in the interim of the breakdown and Funky leaving and the producer scrambling to figure out what they were going to do. And it wasn't until her and I did our interview last year, at the top of last year, I was the first person to get an exclusive with Claudia following all of the TGIF drama, where she spoke to a plethora of things. She got into her upbringing, her experience with colorism and racism. She got into, some of her most notable controversies with the Nene Leakes and Real Housewives of Atlanta. She got into her dating life. And of course, she also spoke about TGIF. And then amidst our interview, she just blurted out, "I want you to be on the show." And I was like, what? So that's when I first learned that I was going to be a prospect, that Claudia was going to bring me to the producer table. She had several other content creators as well who she wanted to work with and who she wanted to see integrated into the TGIF universe. And that was really, really, really super dope. Okay. Now, this is where things get kind of complicated. All right. Because me and Claudia now had like a public association, I was still a content creator, and I was still covering all of the aftermath of Funky Dineva leaving the show. And because I'm a content creator, guess what we have? We have sources. So as a content creator, I get information all the time. I was able to break all type of stories, throughout my tenure as a content creator, because I have conscious crew members everywhere. I have conscious crew members who are doormen at 5-star hotels, who are record keepers, who are paralegals, who are judges, who work in all type of interesting places that allow me to have insight into what goes on behind the curtain, whether that's the curtain of a public figure or whether that's the curtain of a corporation, an institution, etc. So while I was, amidst my coverage of TGIF, I also had insiders reaching out to me, dropping the dime on me on what was transpiring behind the curtain of TGIF. Now, obviously, and this should have been common sense for a lot of people, right? A lot of people felt like, oh, it had to be Claudia Jordan who was given, CTV all of the he. That literally makes no logical sense, considering that Claudia Jordan also wanted me to be a part of TGIF. Nobody who wants to work with you and bring you into a work environment and wants you to be an asset to that environment then is going to tell you how horrendous and terrible that workspace is. It just doesn't make any logical fucking sense, okay? But because I was getting the dime on producers who were reaching out to me, on showrunners who were reaching out to me, on people who had been previously employed by Fox Soul, other talent who was also spilling the dime. You guys know that our Flamin' Row was also a rotating guest on TGIF, etc. So there were lots of people who were speaking publicly about the dynamics over there at Fox Soul. And of course, I just had my own sources. When I learned of all of the drama that was playing out behind the fourth wall, which Claudia did not provide me any intel into that, I had made an executive decision to not even forego the opportunity, because I know how I am. I'm not somebody that trades out my peace of mind for $1. I know that I'm a person who stands strongly on business. If I don't like the way I'm experiencing something or someone, if I feel like I'm being mistreated, I'm being sidestepped, I'm absolutely advocating for myself, and I'm willing to have whatever confrontation needs to be had regarding that treatment. My God, I got hiccups. So considering how toxic the workspace was, I already know that I was just going to come over there and then just douse the goddamn fire and bring everything to a motherfucking head, because I would not be able to withstand the buffoonery of the workspace, nor would I be able to deal with watching other people be mishandled as well. So I was like, you know what? I got a good thing going already on social media. I have my own a platform. I make money doing what I'm doing. I do what I do for a living. So I'm not missing any meals. I'm not missing any opportunities. Like, I'm straight right here. And for the sake of my peace of mind, let me say what the fuck I am. But I continue to be an advocate for the rotating panel situation, other YouTubers having their opportunity, etc. We know that none of that really happened because there was someone who had became a permanent cast member in Funky Diva's spot who was being accused of fucking the producer, Justin. There was a relationship of some sorts there. I had known about this relationship at the time because this was one of the inside scoops I had from my sources about Wiggins' connection to the producer, etc. So Wiggins ended up getting a buddy pass. He ended up getting the opportunity not on merit, not on talent, not on anything aside from just having someone who was already a part of the TGIF multiverse, who he was already connected to. They decided to expedite all of the rotating guests idea just so that they can just lock someone in and get it over with and move on to the next thing. Especially since TGIF was already on its last leg any motherfucking way. So because TGIF wasn't going to really be around the following year, it was going to end no matter what in the year that it all went up in flames. Producers and investors didn't see any need to really have to figure out how to make TGIF exciting again or how to really bring it back to life because it was already on hospice. It was already on a dying bed. That was another reason why I wasn't interested in the opportunity either after finding out all the fuck shit that was going on behind the scenes. And then the fact that TGIF only had about 6-7 months left. And they were paying people, they were going to be paying the new person far less than what all of the other castmates were being paid. So there was a big decline in the budget and the pay for the new talent, on top of the toxic work dynamics, on top of the fact that TGIF was on its way to heaven, girl. It was on its way to be with the Lord. Okay? So all of those things just, really killed the vibe, killed the buzz. Now, in the interim of all of that, Funky Dineva made a lot of claims against Claudia Jordan, claimed she was a bitch, she was fake, she was two-faced. He called her everything but a daughter of the Most High. He also trashed the company when he found out that he had to return their equipment, which is typical corporate protocol. If they provide you a badge, a uniform, a boot, a beret, a microphone, a webcam, a laptop, most corporations, most institutions want their back. Okay, so Funky Dineva decided that he needed to, tell us how cheap and raggedy and broke as hell Fox was for wanting their, what he called their $75 Amazon Prime microphone back, etc., baby. And I ain't mad at Fox, girl. They didn't give a damn how cheap it was, bitch. It ain't yours. Okay? Round that shit up, baby. Round it up. So he also went on, as I said earlier, to compete with the show, which, in my opinion, was extremely malicious. Very, very malicious, because competing with the show, coming on at the same time, especially knowing how much of his own audience he brought to TGIF, and I don't think anybody can deny the fact that the Funky Bunch made up a very notable degree of the viewership for TGIF, and TGIF never recovered, even when they brought on Wiggins, who had over 200,000 robots that were subscribed to his YouTube channel. So even with him being over there, it was night and day in terms of viewership. And that was Funky Dineva's motive. That was his MO. There were even moments where he basically said he wanted to tear that shit down, and basically that if he couldn't have it, no fucking body can. Fast forward, it's been what, a year and a half, however long it's been now since TGIF has been put in a box and put in the basement of Foxhole. And there's been now this Essence Festival reunion between Funky and Claudia. But before we even get there, we got to go back a few months ago where Funky Dineva started crying out to Claudia, started, love bombing her, and, speaking on his YouTube channel how he wanted, to get the gang back, and, that they all, not him, but they, as in Claudia and Miss Al and whomever else, needs to get over their problems with each other because they're the drama, and how, they need to bring the magic back, etc., because he's ready to play professional again. There was no headway on that. There was no movement on that, even though I think he had kind of sent that message out, sent that PSA out. He even was telling the Funky Bunch, y'all go flood Claudia's comment section, go blow her up, tell her, I want to get the girls back, we need to get back on the road, we need to blah 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 blah. Okay, now what people had noticed amidst all of that is Funky had seemingly had some professional opportunities that did not manifest entirely, such as, according to him, Foxo had reached out at some point shortly after his departure from TGIF. They propositioned him for a solo in-studio, in-person show. He then moved from Miami to Georgia, back to Atlanta to accommodate this business proposal. He was asked to write up a budget for the show, to pretty much, be the creative director for the show. He pitched his idea. Everything was cool. Everything was good until they got to salary. And he said that Foxo was still offering him the same salary that he walked away from and that he was already making when he was a part of the ensemble cast of TGIF. And he found that to be pretty preposterous, because why would he settle for that salary as a solo host who obviously is going to be doing more work? He's going to be carrying more of the show as a solo host, because he's not a part of a ensemble cast. He's going to be working even harder. This is an in-person. This is not the convenience from his Wi-Fi and his Spectrum, and this is not digital media. So with all of that, why in the hell would his salary be the same rather than him seeing a dramatic increase, him seeing a double entendre, okay, on Miss Salary? So he said, they weren't able to really come to a common ground about that. They didn't seem to be interested in heightening and escalating his salary, so he chucked up the motherfucking deuces. So because all of this had been happening upon him screaming out and putting these PSAs out to Claudia, people felt like, oh, Funky must be having money issues. I believe that this house he moved in, there was another blogger that apparently found the real deeds on his situation with the house. Her name is Michelle A.T. Brown. You guys know him and her are arch nemesis, used to be besties. He sprayed her for a funky pussy aroma that he says is permanent, and she sprayed him for being a cokehead, crackhead, pipehead who shitted all over her condo and who left her condo in ruins and stole her washer and dryer, and she stayed on his neck ever since. Well, when he apparently had purchased this home, it was supposed to be his first home. Michelle A.T. Brown found out that the home had not been purchased. He was just renting the home, and kind of had exposed the lies he told around this house situation. So, all things given, people decided that Funky must be struggling and he needs Claudia's help, which is not shocking, right? Because Black men oftentimes shit on women and then end up needing to crawl their raggedy, tied, dusty asses back on Born Again Day, on Resurrection Day. Okay, so this is on par for history, child. All right. Once again, all that to no avail until this Essence Festival, where Funky Dineva posted a flyer, 3 days ago, that showed special guest invite to Miss Claudia Jordan. All right. Now, a lot of people had mixed reviews, etc. But for the most part, people were really happy. Like, oh my God, this is great. Boom, 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 boom. And of course, there were other guests such as our T.S. Madison. There's Oliver Twix, which I don't really know why Oliver is over there being a coon and a sellout. You guys know we had to tug on Oliver's 313 because Funky Dineva threw him under the bus when he was at war with Michelle A.T. recently, and he chose to say out loud that Oliver also confirmed to him after meeting Michelle A.T. at what, YouTube Black or whatever the fuck it was, the YouTube event that some creators get invited to, claims that he also smelled a unbecoming aroma from some nook and crevice of A.T. Alien's body. Oliver did respond to Funky doing that, but he ultimately ate it. And I was telling Oliver through my commentary that you need to wear Funky Dineva out. Like, look, y'all already know how I get down, baby. Y'all know, baby, that I will walk away from folk. I will make up from folk. I will walk away from folk, and I will make up with folk because I'm not putting up with no disrespect personally. And I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't give a damn how much money they have. I don't give a damn how many subscribers they have. I don't give a fuck. I don't treat my larger content creator friends any differently than I treat my small content creator friends. I don't even outsource for my own personal value through any other person to begin with. So you will treat me right or you would just get left. That's all to it, okay? That's why, you know, I've had some of the conflict that I've had in my inner circle because I'm just not putting up with no fuck shit. And I really felt sorry for Oliver that he felt because maybe Funky Dineva is a bigger star than him, has more visibility than him, that he needs to just eat it and he just needs to take and accept bad behavior from Funky. So I didn't know whether it was a self-esteem issue on Oliver's part or rather it was just Oliver being opportunistic because Oliver's like, hey, I'll take him throwing me under the motherfucking bus long as I can keep proximity, which will then entitle me to be able to get checks and AKA future opportunities, right? Because here it is, he is a special guest. So I didn't know whether it was the opportunist in Oliver or whether it was, you know, the self-esteem of it all, baby. Either way, okay, he's on the flyer. Claudia's on the flyer. T.S. Madison is on the flyer. Unfortunately, Tamar Braxton is on the flyer. So, you know, there's all these folks. So folks was like, oh my God, we're happy to see y'all. This is great. This is amazing. Boom, boom, boom. Matter of fact, let's just look at some of the comments. Okay, one user says, gone to the next thing, Claudia, coming. Heart emoji. Someone else says, I sure would love to see you and Claudia together again. Someone else says, glad you and Claudia made up. I didn't know. Someone else says, I thought you said Al was sliding through. Someone else says, Oliver and Maddie together. It's about to be a time. Someone else says, this is the best yet. Someone else says, where's Al and Craig on the flyer? This is a fish fry down to the flyer. Someone else says, yes, Claudia, I'm so happy to see y'all hanging out again. All right, so people's like, oh my goodness. All right, then kaboom. We got some footage from Claudia pooching on through to Funky's hosting. Check out this.
Where is the leg popped up?
Matter of fact, let me just restart this.
From TGIF, where is the leg popped up? And go on to the next thing, Claudia popped up. And I was like, fuck. Like, we had, like, oh my God. I thought about it, I said, I ain't really got no issue.
Now, I don't know why the hell Claudia's sitting there looking like a damn bridesmaid. She looking for her cue to walk toward her husband, baby, but it was definitely giving bridesmaid, girl. The stance, the posture, the clutch, honey. It was giving bridesmaids, girl, waiting for her musical cue, girl.
Like, I don't like, yeah, there are certain things I didn't like, and I'm sure she can say the same thing about me. I was like, but bitch, Claudia was a good motherfucking time. Claudia was a good time. I want to work with you again. advertising involved. We just fucking did. The space is there for us. Maybe the younger need to come in and sit down on us. I don't want no niggas involved. But here is what I'm saying out loud and in public. I want a deal where all of us come in equal pay, equal say so, neutral producers. We will work again if you're open to it.
Thank you for that. I just want people around me to work for their money, and I really hate it when things went left because I just think I always get mad at everything. And I always loved your personality. I love signing on. And who cares if I didn't get along with someone else? I had nothing to do with me and you. And I think I got a lot of that, and I really feel my heart too. And like, there's no way in hell that something that was, it's global, you know.
Yeah, UK people, African people.
Africans, South Africans, Europeans, like, I still to this day get after about it. So I'm glad you reached out. I always wanted to.
Some professional differences, but it was never that deep to the point where I hate that bitch. Like, I quit before it got to.
Oh, girl, hold on. I'm gonna let it play, girl. I got a lot of commentary.
So directly out of my mouth to your ear, Claudia Jordan is not the direct. Well, I quit over $250. I didn't feel appreciated by Fox. So them hoes couldn't even give me no goddamn. I said, if you won't give me the $250, can I have some health insurance? And you got on Twitter was like a bitch getting from SAG. You did. So I wanted it from them hoes. But nevertheless, let's do it. Fuck it. Tasha K post this bitch. Positive. I want to work with you again.
I do too.
And let's do it again and again and again and again.
This was such a narcissistic cleanup. This is typical narc behavior. I've come to the conclusion that, you know, while I have respect for Funky Dineva as a fellow commentator and what he's done for the commentating space and the Black commentating space, but on another note, I've also, in seeing the way he's moved throughout his career and his tenure as a creator, have come to the conclusion that Funky Dineva is a narcissist. And that doesn't really shock me, considering that his origins kind of have all of the makings of a narc, which has a lot to do with childhood trauma, childhood emotional abandonment, severe childhood emotional abandonment. I know that he has a lot of issues with his mother, which might be reflected in a lot of his alleged issues with Black women and women's community. The root of that may be his issues with his mother. And all narcs are victims of people who were supposed to nurture them, who lack that, and people who never made themselves emotionally available to the narc in their formative years. So all of the makings of Funky's narcissism are definitely there. And this here, how he even handled Claudia was, first of all, it was historically inaccurate. When he says it was never that deep, I never hated Claudia. It wasn't like hate that bitch. It's literally completely contrary to his actions and his own words. He acts as if we don't remember the video of him choosing to turn on his camera, go live from his headboard, and say, Claudia, you better watch your back or I'm going to expose you, bitch. I'm going to expose you. You better back down. Then proceeded to call her every name in the book, and then proceeded to keep his foot on TGIF's neck until it was completely obliterated. The big issue with what Funky Dineva did, right? Because it's one thing to have a war of words. It's one thing to have a disagreement with a colleague or with a friend or with somebody who maybe is both, and you guys just end up in a tiff and you throw shots, they throw shots, y'all talk shit, whatever. That's one thing. It's another thing, though, when you gonna choose to get your frail body, prick-soaked body ass online 5 days a week at the same time as the show that I created, the show that I created that resulted in you getting a $250,000 check a year for 4 days out of the week for a fucking hour per day. And you're trying to ruin the show. That is a direct attempt to have taken money, not only off of Claudia's table, but hell, the audacity for Funky to have considered Al Reynolds a friend, but also do that to his friend who was still getting his prescription glasses paid via that $250,000 salary. So Funky really showed just how gutter and low and dark-spirited and menacing and diabolical that he could be. Because it's one thing, once again, to have decided Claudia is the enemy. Let me try to destroy her, but your friend was still in the same boat that you were trying to take Claudia out of. And you were willing, because you were so rage-filled, you were so consumed by your own disgruntledness that even though your friend was in that same boat, you were still willing to put a big ass iceberg in front of it and tank it for your friend. That's another level of what the F. That's another level of it. So for him to sit here and to just love bomb Claudia by just filling her up with compliments. Oh, you're the best. Oh, we had chemistry. We had lightning in the bottle. Yeah, Claudia knew that, bitch, which is why she hired you and Al. You don't have to tell her or convince her about any lightning in the bottle or any perceived chemistry, because it was that very chemistry that motivated her to even come to the Foxhole producers and even put TGIF together and to pitch the show. You don't have to tell her anything about lightning in the bottle. Lightning in the bottle is what she was holding on to before you continued to drag the shit out of her while she was still playing Beyonce to the shit. She was still being Celine Dion to the shit. It took Claudia months before she finally started defending herself and standing up for herself. There was no accountability in Funky Dineva's conversation. And the problem with men a lot of times, and this really isn't even a men thing, this is just a low vibrational humanity thing, really. The problem with people is people be wanting to substitute accountability for love bombing and complimenting. I'm sorry, bitch. You coming in here telling me how great I am, bitch, I know. Telling me how much of the baddest bitch I am, bitch, I know. Telling me how amazing I am, bitch, I know this and you know this. Tell me something that I don't know. Oh, what I don't know is what you have now learned about the role you played in the fuck shit that became our situation. Tell me that. That's what I don't know. Everything else you're telling me, I do know. And you don't get to throw money or throw gifts or throw a bunch of compliments at a situation to make a situation better. Taking accountability is, look, bitch, I was wrong. Bitch, I was wrong. And the reality is, technically, you shouldn't even really have anything to fucking do with me. I am literally experiencing your grace and mercy by you even being willing to pick up the phone. You even obliging this invite and pulling up on me because I was out of order. I was immature. I wasn't professional. I hadn't lost my motherfucking mind and lost my wits about myself. It was vindictive. I can take ownership of that. Maybe there was some envy in there. I can take ownership of that. I had to really sit down in myself and figure out what the fuck is going on with me, because I made the focus you, and I made the focus Fox, and I made the focus everything else but me. Nobody asked me to pick up that camera and turn it on and say all the things that I did. I made that choice. Nobody told me to go live 5 days a week and to attempt to tank this show and take money out of you and my friend Al Reynolds' pockets. I chose to do that. And what I learned about myself is that I got a lot of mommy issues. I have some professional insecurities. And you know what I've done to get even more to the bottom of my behavior, which isn't just reflected in you, Claudia. I realized that I have a pathology here. At this point, I now got you under my belt. I got Michelle ATL under my belt. I have all the other shows that have made it under my belt. There is a bit of a pattern here. Yes. Hell, I even recently, Dr. Heavenly is my friend. I recently got my ass up on the internet and told her op on how to masterfully insult her. That's when I really knew, y'all, that Funky Dineva is not a friend to anybody, and Funky Dineva is deeply, deeply, deeply insincere. There is something really, really wrong and warped in Dineva's personality. The fact that he literally calls Dr. Heavenly a friend, literally goes on and brags about, you know, her. I know her family, her children. I love the Heavenlies. And then you set your ass up in a hot topics discussion and literally told her op how that op could insult her by dragging the bottom row of Dr. Heavenly's husband's teeth. And they were actively friends at the time. This ain't somebody like he not friends with, right? This ain't somebody that you know, we ex-friends, girl. This is somebody he actively had a friendship with and was trying to give her op a tutorial on how she could flame his friend, Dr. Heavenly, up. I said, baby, whatever, baby, if this is what they call friends, bitch, keep me away from this. Keep me away from this. Now, look, people can be a fan of Funky Dineva. People, look, but two things can be true at the same time. You can love and like somebody and tell them the truth about their ass on point blank and a period. Liking somebody, being a fan of somebody should not reduce you to being a pick-me-sha and a yes man to nobody. If you can't tell the truth about the people you love, if you can't call a thing, if you can't be respectfully, constructively critical, or you can't acknowledge the simple facts of the matter, baby, you're not a part of a fan base. You have been successfully inducted into a cult. Okay? You're not a fan, baby. You're a cult member. Okay? Because even fans can tell the truth. Even fans can say, hey, I love that person, but yeah, they lied, or that was on some bullshit right there. Or no, I don't stand behind that. That's where we're going to draw the line there. Fans can do that. Supporters can do that without feeling like they have to choose between honesty and their support, because two things can be true at the same time. And if you really care about people, you really love somebody, you'll tell their ass what they need to be told instead of kissing their ass and fluffing their ego. And then they get out here to blowing up and fucking up future opportunities for themselves. And they're a year now sitting in a damn Twitter space regretting how they burnt this bridge and that bridge like Mr. Wiggins. If you can't tell the truth and you can't call a thing, you just as out of order as the out of order motherfucker you call yourself pedestalizing and you call yourself supporting. It's non-adult behavior. This is not high school. This is not Winsboro High. And your grown ass should be able to be objective and be able to state the facts and have no problem with the facts and chin check the people that you care about, whether they're your favorite celebrities, public figures, your relatives, whomever. And because you love them, you ain't got to be disrespectful in your rhetoric. Because it's not about making somebody feel bad or trying to shame somebody or trying to, hurt somebody's feelings. No, you can give that constructive criticism lovingly, but you do need to give that constructive criticism. And if you can't do that, once again, you're not a fan, you're a cult member, my love. So This entire invite with Claudia, etc., it was love bombing. There was no accountability on his part. There was no information about what he's learned about himself, what was at the root of why he acted the way he did. There's no information or nothing in his pathology, even following his departure from Fox Soul, that remotely demonstrates that he's any better today than he was a year ago. There's nothing there. It's just all compliments, 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 compliments. Now, a lot of people were trying to figure out, right, if this thing was premeditated on Claudia and Funky's part, whether she, you know, knew this was going to happen or whether this was all in the moment. So Claudia had ended up dropping down in my boo Spill It Boy TV's YouTube comment section, because Spill It Boy, who's a pop culture, a commentator, an amazing drag performer, etc. I live for Spill It Boy TV. Spill It Boy had been given coverage about Claudia and Funky's reunion. Hell, he even been over there because I was watching Spill It Boy's commentary today, girl. I didn't even know he was over there like windmilling for me, girl. He like, yeah, you did my boy Consciouztv wrong. You did me, baby. Spill It Boy was giving it up, child, okay? So apparently in his initial coverage, Claudia had dropped down in the comment section. And this is what she had to say in response to some of the things he was saying, okay? And once again, this is Spill It Boy TV. You guys make sure that you guys subscribe and give Spill It Boy a click in the view and tell him that I sent you, okay? Claudia says it was 1,000,000,000% impromptu. I only agreed to come by the party to say hello. And soon as I walked in, Funky already had the mic in his hand because he was hosting his party, talking to his Funky bunch, and he didn't even know I was walking in at that moment. The party was 12 to 4, and I was squeezing it in before my 3 p.m. panel call time at the convention. It was totally off the cuff, and I had no idea he was going to say what he said. That's why I was shocked. That was the first time we spoke since he left the show. He texted me the day before out of the blue and asked if I was at Essence. I said I'm on the way. He invited me to his party. I was open to it. He asked for some pics. I sent them and he put them on the flyer. And I said, I can't wait to see what the comments are after this. That was the only conversation we've had in over a year. So, sir, you are wrong about your assessment. Okay, so I guess Spill It Boy was leaning more so on the, you know, it seems that this was a play, this was a Todd, that this was a scheme that Funky, Claudia, and Todd came down here to us with. So she wanted to clear up the fact that it wasn't premeditated. This is the first time she's even heard directly from Funky Dineva since he left the show, and da-da-da-da-da, okay? Spill It Boy replies and says, thank you for this, Claudia. I stand corrected. Thank you for taking the time. Claudia responds and says, my pleasure. Y'all know, as a former journalist, LOL. That's a little inside joke between her and Spill It. I like the real facts to be presented. My best friend, Annie, was with me as we stopped by real quick because I asked her to come with because I didn't know what the vibes were going to be when I got there. And plus, we were heading down to the convention center to promote our movie and had limited time. When she heard Funky start talking to me on the mic, she pulled her camera out. I haven't posted yet, but yeah, I was shocked when he texted me the day before out of the blue, and then shocked that he did that at his event. It was a nice moment. I did hear about him saying he wanted us back on his channel, but he hadn't called me to talk to me about it. So it was just out there in the YouTube atmosphere. I want to also clock that as another narcissistic ploy on Funky's part as well. Because remember, when Funky started doing the whistleblowing and the PSAs on his YouTube channel to, you know, we need to get it back, y'all go blow up, you know, Claudia Jordan's comment section. I think he did this like 2 or 3 months ago. I was even saying it then, this is weird that you are sending your fans to go and dogpile and pressure Claudia to realign with you professionally, and you haven't even caught her on the motherfucking phone. Like, that's how I knew that, once again, this was self-serving. This is just about whatever Funky can benefit from. When it comes to Claudia, he knows that she's a check creator, she's a check gatherer, and that she's a consistent working girl. She's one of the only actresses, models, personalities that have had a consistent career in media, like 20 something plus years, from video girl to modeling to pageants to host to actress to everything. It hasn't even missed a beat since TGIF. Hell, she over there with Carlos King and Dustin Ross, etc. You know, so Claudia works. Funky doesn't even knows that. He knows that that's one of Claudia's superpowers, that this lady has an incredible creative mind. She knows how to put some together. And she knows how to get to that motherfucking bag on period. Hold on, y'all. Okay. And Funky Dineva may struggle in those areas, especially since he's burnt so many bridges and showed his motherfucking ass so bad. Over the years, honey, getting older is not getting him better, unfortunately, not on the professional front. So even that was interesting to me, how he sent his fans to go hype Claudia up instead of calling her like a real man. You gay, but you still a motherfucking man. And stand in the paint and really talk through the issues, because it wasn't like you just walked away quietly and everything went on peacefully. Bitch, you made an entire ass of yourself and you launched a direct war against Claudia because you chose to leave as a result of producers not willing to up your pay or give you Obamacare. And that became Claudia's issue. So the narcissism things and the backdooring and to trying to get his needs met out of Claudia while really avoiding the elephant in the room is just completely immature on Funky Dineva's part. It really is, once again, really reflective of the fact that while some parts of Funky may be 50, other parts are obviously 16 years of age. Just completely undeveloped. All right? Now, what's interesting, let me close this out, is that following this meet and greet and the hugs and kisses and all the things, Claudia and her podcast co-host for the Accidentally Informed podcast are going to have Funky Dineva on the show tomorrow. Okay? As you guys see here. And their podcast captions it this: tomorrow on Accidentally Informed, we're joined by the one and only Miss Funky Dineva to break down that viral video of a possible TGIF reboot. Plus, Claudia Jordan is spilling all the juicy behind the scenes gossip from the Essence Fest. All right, so there's supposed to be a intentional, focused dialogue between Claudia and Funky on their podcast, unpacking the TGIF drama. This is going to be really, really interesting to see. I will be tuning in and reporting to you guys what the gatherings are. I'm interested to see how Claudia is going to navigate the situation. There are a lot of people who don't want to see Claudia give Funky that don't want to see her professionally realign with Funky, considering how hard he went to destroy her show, to take money out of her pocket. And I'm going to be honest, that's a little bit too vicious for me as well. I would never, under any circumstances, and that couldn't be a check large enough for me to ever consider professionally realigning with someone who came from my motherfucking neck to that degree. It would just never can happen. I mean, you have to stand for something, I'll fall for anything. But everybody is different on that front. Everybody has a different capacity. Some people's boundaries are a lot looser than others. Some people's lines are a lot thicker than others. So, there's no real true right or wrong. Claudia is within her right to handle this situation according to, her own ethics, toward her own value system. And on the other side of that, there are people who would love to see this, who would love to see Claudia and Funky together again. And once again, personally, I don't think it's necessary. At this point, there's enough entertainment out here to where we don't need to see problematic ass people being in positions where they can be problematic again, and they haven't even taken accountability for the problematicness they even were before. I don't feel that Funky has personally demonstrated or earned his way back into Claudia's good grace. I don't give a damn about the people saying that Claudia was, you know, she's an Nene Leakes hater. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm talking specifically about the Claudia and Funky Dineva dynamic. I don't give a damn about any other side conversation, side issue, side reality, back alley ass reality, peripherally around Claudia Jordan. I'm specifically talking specifically to the Funky and Claudia dynamic. And I do not feel that Funky has demonstrated anything that could remotely be looked at as any form of insurance or change, any type of demonstration of change that should result in Claudia feeling safe again. Who knows what Funky Dineva will do again when his needs are not met. If Claudia ends up getting more opportunity as a result of whatever they're going to do together, is he going to be sitting in the background, scratching his ass and secretly player hating and drowning in his envy, etc.? And is he going to be intentionally, you know, trying to friend her in order to get intel so that on Mad Day he can go ballistic and dark again? Like, he just did too fucking much, and he hasn't done enough sense for it to make sense why Claudia should align with him. I think it's perfectly okay and dope that they were able to socially let bygones be bygones, but working together professionally, given all that Funky Dineva did, for me, it's a no. For me, it's a wash. For me, Funky Dineva needs to come a lot harder for a woman who put $250 extra thousand motherfucking dollars in his check to work from his pamper and to work from his motherfucking headboard. And it also would just continue. Every time I really think about this, it just really disgusts me, considering, like, how do you even muster disrespecting someone to the degree in which fucking Dineva did to Claudia, considering all that Claudia created and gave birth to for Funky as it relates to that $250,000 stipend? Bitch, you're talking about Obamacare, girl, for $250,000 a year for 1 hour a day, 4 days out of the week. Girl, you can afford whatever new big tooth you need, whatever damn big toe surgery is necessary, girl. You're getting paid. Girl, you can afford whatever little personal maintenance you need on your body, yada, 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 yada. You're doing the least and getting the most, and then still have the audacity to complain, talk shit, and then try to grenade the place down to the ground on your way out. Make it make goddamn sense. And Funky ain't never did nothing for nobody else for all these people that have done for Funky. You know, what has Funky ever done for anybody? Anybody. 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 What? All Funky has done is take. Considering how old and how seasoned he is in this space, he should be the one paying it forward. He should be the one creating and producing, and he should be the one outsourcing for talent and coming up with show ideas, etc. Ain't done shit. But take, and got the nerve to think he the baddest bitch and then complain and try to ruin other motherfucking people. Like, it's just a little bit too audacious. It's a little bit too irrational. It's a little bit too just out of touch for me. For me, it is. For me. And everything about the way he's gone about realigning and reconnecting to Claudia is just got narcissism and self-serving completely and utterly all over it. And shout out to Claudia for being so gracious to even oblige this nigga, because baby, he would have to page me 100,000 times over to get me to physically take time out of my schedule to come see about what the fuck him and his bunion want. So, conversation happening tomorrow. We will see what happens. Is there anybody who want to come up and give their 1-2? And please, if you're going to come up and give your 1-2, make it quick, because yeah, this is it, and I ain't got no more in me. So yeah, if there's anybody who want to come up, let me know in the chat, and I will drop the link. Come and give your 1-2, 1-2, and whole ass. Is there anybody? Because if there's anybody who want to come up, I can drop the link. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and drop the link in case anybody want to come up and sound off. What do you think about this reunion, honey? What do you think? Who you with? What business you standing on? Nia says he abuses and uses black women for years. He called himself a rich white woman, and now he needs a rich black woman to get his ass back together again. It's the irony for me. Hey, Rumors and Tea.
Hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Hey, Conscious. Hey, crew.
Hey.
I'm sitting here like, I want to just shake the shit out of Claudia, but at the same time, you know, I would entertain it, like, you know, the whole interviewing him thing, sitting out having a conversation for the clicks and the views or whatever, but I could never, honestly, I wouldn't have even shown up, even though I know she was already scheduled to be at the SNFest. I would have been nowhere near his, you know what I'm saying, his little setup. I just wouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't reached out to me to have a conversation, but you invited me to come show up at your event.
So
That's
because all of that was an opportunity to, once again, to pressure her. If I
right,
put her in a situation in a room full of people, and I love bomb her down, and she gets the crowd applause and da 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 da, all of that is the manipulation of it all.
no, I understand that. What I'm saying is he would have never got the opportunity to even have my presence, like to be graced with my presence from the get-go. You're not going to send me a text message inviting me to any damn thing. As a matter of fact, you're not going to send me a text message and think that I'm going to respond when we haven't talked in ages. No, you're going to pick up the phone. If that text message wasn't a lengthy ass Dear John letter and a lengthy ass please forgive me, come back, baby, baby, baby. No. That shit would have been left unread. And that's straight up. I don't know what's going on. Like with Claudia, and I understand we all have a right to make the whatever choices we want for our life. But I'm speaking even just on, like, for me, I ain't even dealing with whatever their little friendship is or non-friendship is on a personal side. But professionally, no. No. It's no way. I wouldn't even entertain it. I would have just, he couldn't, like, even the applause and all of that, I wouldn't have gave a fuck. She gets hate all the time. You understand what I'm saying? She gets, like, I've never, there's not a time that Claudia is not live. I don't care what platform, hers or anybody else's, where it's not more disgruntled viewers than it is people that are for Claudia. Okay? I would have turned my ass around soon as I saw what he was doing, and I would have left. I would have left because everything that he's done so far has been performative, has been very much manipulative. Even the way he left the show. So absolutely not. His patterns hasn't changed. So I'm looking at Claudia sideways, and you know I love Claudia, but I'm looking at homegirl sideways. Like, are you suffering with low self esteem or something? Are you like having comprehension
I do know.
difficulties?
I do know from.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
I do know from Claudia that she is another empathic person. She does have her nature is to be able to transcend it, to look past it, humanizing the individual. So she's had to navigate that the way the rest of us empaths have, where we have a habit of being able to humanize people to the point that it almost dissolves them of accountability, and we kind of take it upon ourselves to believe that it's our job, just because we can get past it, and then to welcome people back in without them having to work for that or earn that in any kind of way, shape, or form. So she does have that dynamic going on with her too, and she has admitted that to me, and it has put her in some bad situations romantically and socially. So to your point, this is the universe testing Claudia to see, girl, are you going to stand on business? Because once again, is it rumors that we are disagreeing with her working ever again with Funky professionally, or is it that we want to see her make him earn that from her again, since he so carelessly threw it away for free?
Hell no.
Okay, the empath in me always is gonna say,
I'm
make
okay
him earn it.
because hold on, y'all. Everybody gonna get an opportunity, and I know everybody's ego, so I'm gonna let y'all into this conversation too. But for me, I'm gonna speak for me. I'm okay with even the professional, because I can't deny that they have chemistry. TGIF was amazing. I love TGIF. However, considering everything that was done, I just don't like when people forgive people without accountability and onus. I don't like when people just do that. I would prefer, and I think it's in the best interest of the person who's been hurt through the situation, to get that assurance from the person who's done the most in the situation. I can't tell folk what to forgive and not to forgive, but if you don't forgive and there's been some real travesty, there's been some real transgression, make a motherfucker line that shit up for you. Make a motherfucker line that shit up for you, boo. You did the most on the way out, and you gonna do the motherfucking most on the way in. I bet your mama's ass. That's what you gonna do.
Well, and as you know, I'm in my me season of me. Fuck everybody else right now. That may change. Who knows? But for right now, it's fuck everybody else, because people have a tendency to abuse your kindness and your vulnerability against you. And this is the reality. At some point, even for empaths, I need all my fellow empathians to really recognize when you are becoming an enabler. People can only do to us what we allow them to do to us. As far as, like I said, the professional stance, because I didn't even speak on allegedly a friendship. I don't get into the friendship dynamics of people, because I understand that, but business is business. What you're not gonna do is fuck up my money when I haven't done anything to you, and go on a war and try to defame my character, my professional character, unjustly, and then turn around and pucker them big ass fucking lips up near my asshole, blowing smoke up my ass. That's what you're not gonna do. That's what you're not going to do.
Absolutely.
So the only way I can see her even making him earn it is if he seeks professional help and shows that he's serious about it. That's what he should do if he really serious about getting, whatever goals he's trying to get accomplished by reuniting with her professionally. Won't you chronologize, like do a live? You go live about everything else. Won't you show us getting you some fucking help and getting your act together? I'm going on mute so somebody else can talk.
Okay. Thank you for that, Aromas. We got Trey in the building. What's going on, Trey? Sound off.
Hey, CTV and chat and everyone else. First, I just want to thank you for allowing me up here. I haven't been watching you since you were detailing everything that was going on with T.S. Madison and them. But I really just wanted to say I agree with both you and Rumors. Honestly, I do have to disagree a little bit when it comes to the professional side of Funky, because when we look at uh, the show TGIF, I remember because I used to watch every morning. It was a part of my morning because it would be my little piece of escape while I was working from home. But at the same time, I remember Funky halfway working, not really knowing what the topics were. Him and Al were just so aloof to a lot of things that were going on. Claudia has always been a consummate professional, and I feel like it shows even in this particular situation. She went to see him, and I agree with you. I don't know Claudia personally, but after watching her interview with Carlos King, it really showed that there's a different, softer side of her where she may not be a 100% people pleaser, but she does want to see people win, and she is susceptible to falling to people's manipulation when it comes to her feelings. But I've always been a fan of Claudia. I was with her the whole time that all of this was going through, and I'm really just irritated with Funky Dineva and this whole revisionist history that he's trying to pull. It's just disrespectful to not only Claudia, but to all these people that are around and the people that he's just playing in our faces. And I don't appreciate that at all. Funky is just very lazy. He really does not want to work. That's the thing. He just does not want to work. And like you said, he wants to get the most while doing the least. And it's not going to work with him trying to join back into a group because his ego is too big for a group. We already saw that. Yeah. So even if he works his way up to placate Claudia's feelings and then they do something together, it's still just going to turn out to be the same thing, in my opinion.
So you think that history gonna repeat itself?
It most definitely will, because Funky is one of those people that he's at an age, and I believe that he grew up in a generation that's very set in their ways. Him and Al are very similar in that way, where he does not want to change. He has made a lot of comments and said a lot of things that lets me know that he is not somebody who is willing to actually change or do the work, as Ayana would say.
Do the work, Jesus, because I have a feeling deep down, I got a feeling too, like part of me want to give Funky the benefit of a doubt. I think we all have a habit of falling for love bombing, and I think we all have a habit of misinterpreting apologies and what an apology really should look like, what accountability should look like, and maybe that's a big issue too, but why so many of us have taken some really awful apologies or mediocre apologies or things that really weren't apologetic at all to begin with, because we don't really know what that actually looks like. We don't know really what that truly is supposed to sound like. And because most people have an ego, all you really do have to come back and tell most people is that you are the best and you're awesome, and just fluff their ego up and boom, okay, baby, we can work some things out again. And I hope that Claudia has risen her self-awareness enough. I hope that she really understands and reads the room of her and Funky's situation and understand what Funky need to speak to for her to ever consider putting herself back in a position, as you said, to kind of be re-scarred, re-traumatized, re-dragged, re-slandered again, because a lot of us have not seen anything from Funky since leaving TGIF that demonstrates that there's been any significant change in his attitude and his ethics and his behavior. I mean, he's went on to be controversial. He's went on to, it's just been a mess. I too don't think this is a great idea. And I wouldn't want Claudia to swipe out her personal safety for the sake of entertaining us. Like, right. I'm not that into being entertained by anybody that I would want them to put themselves in a risky situation just for my key and cackle. Like, I can do without that key and cackle if it means her just making up with him socially and keeping it moving until the Lord speaks to her from Mount Sinai, or until Funky done been in 2 damn years of psychotherapy and has clearly demonstrated that he's been touched by the Holy Spirit.
I 100% agree. I'll quickly lastly say that I understand that Funky is still popular in his group or his niche or his subset of black women that love to praise gay men that discriminate and destroy them verbally. But I will say with Claudia, I will give her a pass for allowing this particular um, conversation to happen on her platform. I will just take that as she is doing one thing that Funky has always said, which was getting paid for her pain.
Yeah.
But thank you once again. I'm gonna go to mute.
Okay. That was our tray, you guys. Whitney, what's the tea, child? What are your thoughts? Super quick.
Hey, Conscious. Hey,
Hey.
I'm so glad that you are covering this. Do I have an echo? Do I sound okay?
No, you sound good.
Okay. I cannot believe that Funky is trying this. I do not think it's a good idea at all for Claudia to um, work with him professionally again. Like you said, they can move on socially and have a friendship that way, but working together, absolutely not. If black women are at the bottom of the totem pole, then you don't need them, Mr. Black Man. You go ahead and you figure out how to do it alone, because you have said too many disrespectful things to Claudia. And here's the thing, right? I'm going through something with somebody who's turning into an ex-friend. You know, the friendship is rocky right now. And there are so many things that I can say to this person. I've been journaling it. I've been doing voice notes. I've been doing text messages. That's what you can do when you're in a storm with somebody, instead of blasting them publicly and disrespecting them and now having to go back and apologize in public. Imagine if you kept all of that stuff under wraps. You journaled, you did whatever you had to do, and then you came back and apologized to Claudia without all of the extra stuff that we were hearing. I think it would have went over better that way. And I hope that Claudia just, because to me, I don't know too much about Claudia. I know that she run like 3 miles a day. I know she a bad bitch, and I just don't want people to continue putting themselves in situations like this. Like, y'all can be friends, sure, but professionally working, no. And this the last thing, because we had this conversation on a panel like 2 months ago about standing on business and friendships, and are you willing to let everybody go if you standing on business and you about self-respect? And I think Claudia should stand on business. She shouldn't go back. She working with Carlos, and she should just move forward and use this as confirmation to know that she wasn't the one tripping, and that she, did the best she could in the end or whatever. So I disagree with her going back.
Okay. Great talking points, Whitney. We got a new religion in the building. What's going on? Can you hear me, New Religion? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? New Religion. All right. I'm going to drop New Religion. You can hit the link again if you want to come back up. Homebody, welcome to the platform. Sound off, boo.
Oh, hey.
Oh, your volume is super, super low, Homebody.
My speaker on. Oh, wait, hold up.
It's super low. We can barely hear you.
Okay, I had to disconnect my Bluetooth speaker.
Okay, you're back. You're good.
Is that better?
Yes, that's great.
Oh, it was hooked to the Bluetooth speaker on the house. Okay, so I just wanted to share, like, what really worked my nerves when Funky was talking. He shared and talked about his money. He talked about how he makes $250,000 on the show, and he said that in his speech.
He did.
And I felt that, and I took that as like, so you think Black people don't make money? And he said it on the microphone and looked at the room to make sure everyone else in the room who was Black knew he was making $250,000 on the show. Like, Black people out here making money too. You're not the only one making $250,000. You're not the only one with investments. You're not the only one in a Bentley. You're not the only one in a BMW. And so I don't know exactly what his relationship is to money, but like I feel like even like on his channel he said that several times, multiple times. He talks about how, like, what he makes. There's people out here making money. I just bought my second property in Maine. Like, I'm from Maine, and
Period.
so
Congratulations, somebody.
I just bought a beach
Yeah.
house
Here.
in Maine on the
Come on,
coast.
rich. Come on, rich bitch.
No, but I work in healthcare, and I've worked in healthcare for a long time.
Mhm.
And so I already have a property, and I just bought a beach house because my mom still lives in Maine, and I told her I wanted a beach house, and she found one, and we closed on it, and it's fabulous. And so I'm not going to live there. I'll probably rent out the beach house, but Funky Dineva is up there talking like he's the only one making $250,000 a year. Like, honey. But like aside from that, I think that, and I agree with what you said, CTV, and what everyone else on the panel has said, that um they would be good together to see, but I think he's leeching off of her.
Absolutely.
And so like I don't know. I don't know, and it'll be interesting to see what Fox Soul will do with this. Someone in the comments that I was talking to said, "Well, oh, Fox Soul is going to take it regardless, so they can make the money," and I'm
No,
sure they
I don't
will.
think they are, since Claudia had she kind of had dropped the ball on the ownership of the name. I think that they're going to rebrand this entirely. That this is not going to come through Fox Soul at all. It's going to be
Rebrand it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's going to be something else. It's not going to be like TGIF. Mm-hmm. It'll be the
Oh,
same
okay.
probably show
That'll be
concept, but
interesting.
a Fox Soul, they own the actual name and trademark for TGIF. Even though Claudia came up with the name, came up with the show idea, but she forgot to do the logistics on it.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I love Claudia. I'm rooting for her. She's
Yeah.
always been a businesswoman. It's interesting to me, and I don't know if anyone else on the panel or the chat feels this way. It's interesting to me the number of years Funky has been on social media, and I don't know if it was called social
Yeah.
media when he started, but it's interesting to me that he hasn't leveled up or been able to be on like primetime TV since then, because I feel like that's his goal. And I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but
Yeah.
I feel like he's reaching for that spot. And I don't know if the way he's working is going to reach him there. And that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you for that.
homebody, I'm sorry, can I just,
Yeah.
homebody, he sabotaged his own opportunities because during his interview with Carlos King addressed the fact that he was trying to, he was trying to get Funky to do a show. He had a few times he talked to Funky for years. He had some ideas and wanted to put a show together starring Funky, and he self-sabotaged himself. So, him wanting to do go mainstream, he's sabotaging himself.
And he also admits that he doesn't like. I'm sorry, I know somebody else turned. Just
Yes.
real quick, I know that he doesn't like a structured work schedule, and mainstream requires that. So, but he always wants us to remember that he's with the girls, though. Tamar, the Real Housewife girls. He always makes sure that we know that he's with the girls too. That's it.
Yep.
Going to be.
All right. Let me get to Love. Love, are you in the building? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear
All
me
right.
okay?
Welcome to the platform. You sound great. What are your
Uh,
thoughts?
okay. Well, first of all, before I even get into it, I just want to tell you that you have such a colorful way of expressing your point of view. I love listening to your
Thank
commentary
you,
because
baby.
it's just like, what is he gonna say next? You know what I'm
Thank you,
saying?
baby.
It's so fun. It's so cute, and it's just in your confidence and just I don't know. You're just very entertaining. I don't
Oh,
even
thank you,
understand what.
baby.
I don't know why you ain't even bigger. I swear to God. I'm
Because
like,
YouTube is hating. They don't send up my notifications.
they
They're
got
always unsubscribing my people. My people always like CTV. I got unsubscribed from your channel. I didn't get
it's pure
notified.
hate. It's pure hate because I know talent when I see talent. Okay, but as far as like my comments about Funky and this whole ordeal, I really wasn't the biggest TGIF fan. I'm not gonna lie. I could probably do him by himself, but not on the show. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not even finna trip. The most drama that I tuned in for was when Armand took his place, and but the Funky lost me when that whole ordeal about slapping Tasha. So why would you even want to work with somebody with this is with pertaining to Claudia? Why would you even want to work with somebody that has these sentiments? You are saying that you would slap. You're a man. You're a whole man. You gay, like you say. This is what you say. You're a man. You gay, but you still a man. And then I didn't see him come back and apologize and say, you know what? Because he did. Because he's not sorry.
Right.
And it ain't nothing that he gonna get from this. The same thing with Claudia. So if it would have worked out for him, you think he would have apologized to Claudia now? It didn't work out. It just didn't work out.
That's the thing, right? And that's a great point, love. If Funky was winning, if he was quote unquote shitting on these bitches, if he was, in his bag of it all, would he be?
You already know.
And begging Claudia for her time, fake apologizing.
You already know.
All of that.
You already know. No, he would not. If he was winning, Funky would be somewhere giving us his ass to kiss, and he know that. So that's just what it is. I wouldn't go backwards.
It's true too.
Yeah, I wouldn't go backwards if I was her. But I mean, but you say you tuned in. You said TGI Friday was amazing. So sometimes rebooting ain't too bad. But me personally, if you done did all this to ruin me and walk away from me, because you say you walked away from the show, not from me, but you, like you said, the point you made earlier, Conscious, when you said you tried to stop my bag.
Yeah, that's big.
I don't play like that. That's big. Yeah. So it is what it is, but that's all I wanted to say. And
thank you for those wonderful talking points, love.
Yeah, no problem, and I love your show. I love everything about it.
Thank you so much, baby.
You have a good day.
You too, boo. That was our love, you guys. We
I
got
agree.
Janelle. Is it Janelle?
Yes.
Janelle?
Yes. So, yes, I just wanted to speak to the manipulation of it all.
Yes.
And if Claudia, first of all, I wanted to say peace and blessings to Claudia if you are in here. Because I'm a little nervous, but speaking. But long story short, I just didn't like the manipulation of it all. He waited. He haven't spoken to her since the issue actually happened. And yes, it was public because I heard in the comments about it was a public thing. Like he publicly went in on her. So then he publicly came back to her, but he did not publicly hold accountability for his end. And that's the part that shakes me with it all. You're not going to say whatever, talk all that big talk. Exactly.
Throw me out there under the bus and then come back and be like, but I love you. What?
Right.
Don't.
It was never that deep. It was never that deep. I never hated her.
Right.
She was never a bitch hoe. You was going to expose her. You tried to tank her show, take money out of pocket.
Yes.
Your homeboy Al was still on the ship when you tried to take it down.
Yes. All of that. And I feel like that's a pattern with Funky. I don't know if he can build relationships, so to speak. I think he knows how to wiggle his way around. I think he knows how to talk a good talk when he need to. And just like he said, I can just leave and I got this whole thing going over here on YT. Well, let me tell you something. YT is tanking. It's Funky, as in his name. And that's why he crawling back. So that was all.
I agree, and I want to add something to what the other young.
Hold on, I thought super quick. Let me get Sin in here, and then we can circle back. Hey Sin, sound off, boo.
Hey, how are you all doing tonight? Hello,
Hey, baby.
everybody. I'm gonna hold grace for Claudia in this
Mm-hmm.
space because you know me, we've talked. I'm an
Yeah.
empath,
Mm-hmm.
but at some point we have to grow up from
Yes.
the little girl or the little boy in us that's been hurt. Because I've always wanted to see
Mm-hmm.
people win, and would take a modicum of disrespect just as long as everybody is okay. Nothing about this situation, how he went
I
about,
agree.
was okay. None of it. Number one, it screams manipulation. I do not like love bombing. You know, God rest my deceased husband's soul, but he wasn't a love bomber. But whenever he would make serious misjudgments in actions and things where I had to come and pick up the pieces and shell out the money, when especially when he didn't listen to wisdom, i.e. me, in the home in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows a level of immaturity. You won't hold yourself accountable, but think that you're gonna drive a bus over me, and then I give you the opportunity to put myself in the same space where you can hit reverse and do it again. Absolutely not. Personally, if she and I think Claudia, she has been consistent in keeping herself out there in the stratosphere for
Mm-hmm.
to make money. I understand that he may know that, but he should have thought about his wallet before he let his mouth override his you know
Part.
what.
That part.
I mean, we as
That
Black
part.
people sometimes, unless it's affecting your mental health and you got to get away, you better start acting like and living like your bank account, you're accountable to that first.
Yeah.
Because you're not, I mean, and the way that karma is karmaing in the earth these days, she's not giving us too many opportunities like this to go back and do stuff right when we fucked it up on period. So next time he needs to think about that with somebody else. And what he did publicly, really, Al was behind the scenes. So both of them and a little bit of Armand on the side, all three of them can tank the show. Personally, if I was
Mm-hmm.
Claudia, I wouldn't fuck with nobody no more. I can accept your apology. You still, if it was an apology, it didn't ring true to me that it was. I would just say, hey, okay, thank you, God bless you, and move on. When
Yeah.
they on one side of the street, let me be on the other, minding my business, going
Mm-hmm.
totally in the opposite direction. You don't get an opportunity to besmirch me in public on a wide scale like you did, and then think I'm supposed to put money back in your pocket when you stopped you were assisting in stopping all of ours. No, I'm just not gonna do that. I think what she need to do, I think the ladies show for me, I enjoyed them. If she could resurrect a panel or something like that with those ladies, or something to that effect, fine. Leave these petty ass power tops and bottoms alone, because their motives are starting to not ring true as sincere. And you are one, and giving, I always love you and give you your flowers. You're one of the very few content creators that I listen to these days. Not
Yeah.
very many of them. And I used to kind
Yes.
of, dabble in here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
only because you're consistent, you're
Yeah.
loyal, you'll tell the
Yeah.
truth. You are what we missing even in the mainstream media and news, is that you stick with the story.
Yeah.
You may have a feel a way this way or that way about it, but everybody can get that work just like everybody can get that love and flowers.
Right. Right.
And I think that's,
Yeah.
she can, I believe she can do that and do that
Yeah.
well. If
Yes.
she wants to do a panel thing, she needs to get matching energy, and make sure everything is laid out, and don't mismanage the name and the money. Make sure what they say these days with all this political stuff going on, make sure your paper, even my pastor said, make sure your paperwork is in order.
Okay.
Make sure your
That part.
paperwork is in
Yes.
order.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Because God knows, if I was sitting in the space with her right now, you would definitely be far larger than you are right now,
Yeah.
just because you have proven yourself in this space to be deserving of it. Even
Yeah.
when you dropped back last year, even knowing the things that it wasn't initially
Yeah.
made public to us
Yeah.
about what was going on, because I felt some kind of way when they didn't bring you up there. I
Yeah.
knew it wasn't her once we talked to her, because I
Yeah.
remember the
Yeah.
day that you had that
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I was up there because I was in the ER
Mm-hmm.
that night.
Yeah.
And I let her know. I said, hey, I love what she does for trying to put people on, but
Yeah.
I need for her to sit with the Father a little bit and get that discernment together, because
Yeah.
she's going to need that moving forward, because as more
Yes.
people see the power of social media and then think that they can try to link up with her, because she is someone that strikes me like I am. If I think that you're worthy, or I'm not getting a red flag with you, I want to see you win. If there's anything
Mm-hmm.
I can help to do that or help to facilitate that, I don't mind. And I'm not one that you got to come and pay me or whatever,
Right.
because my crowns and my jewels and my crown, may not be very plenty on this earth, but it'll be many before the Father. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of things I don't get thanks for,
Yeah.
but God sees my motives, and those are the motives and intents of my heart. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what's most important to me. And I believe that me and her share that. But she needs to just
Yeah.
thank you, and don't
Good
allow
talk.
for
Yeah.
herself to be manipulated
Yeah.
publicly like that
Yeah.
by him or
Oof.
anybody else again.
And sin, as me and you and rumors know, that's the hardest thing for empathic people to do, because everything in us wants to, like, we go in wanting the best, thinking the best. We project ourselves onto other people, and that can be the bad thing, because we be thinking everybody is us. We be thinking that everybody is, that they got the right intentions. Everything is on the up and up. We go in all heart. And even when shit go left, because that's our starting point, is we see the best. We think people are naturally good and then become bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're born bad and then have to work at being good. So because of we going in it good, it's so easy for us to just let everything go. It's so easy for us to just, get to that part of the vision, instead of dealing with the ugly, unwanted parts of the situation. Even there be a part of us that also don't want to have to go through the process of reconciliation. We just have to quantum leap to it being okay. So hell, if you're willing to say, look, it's all good, okay, great. It's all good. We ain't got to work through nothing. I don't want to carry that, we ain't got da. So, but as we can see and as we know, no, you have to have an intimate confrontation with betrayal. You have to have an intimate confrontation with these things that show up in relationships, because the things that you overlook today will be the things that are going to eat you alive tomorrow. What you won't deal with is going to deal with you. So you have to tackle those things, no matter how inconveniencing it may feel. You don't want to let people's bad behavior be overlooked. You don't want to overlook that shit. You're always going to regret it. So I too hope she's in a place where, especially, as a woman, as a sexy cougar, that she knows that it's not in my best interest to let Funky just slip and slide his way back in. He's going to have to really take full big ownership, and we just going to need time to get there. I'm not willing to just jump
And
back
Claudia
in.
is older than Funky. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how old Claudia
Or are they the
Jordan
same
is.
age?
I think she's almost near 50.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I know she's in her late 40s. She's about where I am, but we always want to hold people accountable, as we should, as well as ourselves. But we got to start being a little heavier in our hand on, hey, not only do I want the accountability, I need permanent changed behavior, because we're not going to do
Well,
this here.
accountability is work. For giving a verbal acknowledgement is not accountability. That's not how accountability works. And I think that Conscious said something that's very poignant. We don't really know how to navigate this thing called life in a spiritual way. That can equate in our everyday, natural lives. Having discernment is a beautiful thing, but also being able to identify and recognize the flaws, and even being an empath, the flaws. That's why I use the term, and calling her an enabler. Because a lot of times we as empathic people don't see that we are actually enabling people's bad behavior. People don't know how to properly apologize. Just using words without action behind it, it is really like a non and void type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I just recognize that in my own self. That's why I said I'm in the season of me. I understand the need to have and want to have human contact and interactions and sociability. But when it comes to people having um, being able to have access to your life, your spirit, and your energy, and it can be damaging to you, I don't think the universe wants to reward empaths in a way that we are broken down and and we're destroyed and our health fails for doing good or trying to do good. Like, it just seems very much that we are misinformed people on a lot of things when it comes to our relationships to others. And something very important that Conscious and I have discussed is about understanding your value, knowing that in a friendship, like, you never want to change who you are, but you definitely want to change how you show up in people's lives, right? And if you're giving to someone that is not, they don't have to necessarily return and be on your level as far as the giving. And I'm not talking about finances, things. I'm just saying giving of yourself. They may not ever be able to reciprocate what you are to them. However, they need to show appreciation and knowing that you are a gift in their life. And if people are not showing that they value you by appreciating you, and how do you show a person that you appreciate them? Doesn't mean you're not going to have disagreements and even possible fallouts, but how you handle me during the disagreements and the fallouts, it speaks majorly. Not only are you showing me that you don't appreciate me if and you don't value me if you do what something like Funky has done, you're also showing God, the universe, the Son, and the Holy Daughter, all of those entities. You are showing that you don't appreciate the gift that you've been given. So you don't deserve me. Now it's not up to you to try to. In the reality, Funky has to get himself together for him. Nothing that he's going to touch hands on is going to prosper because he's been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and he has not shown the higher entities that he's appreciative of it. So now, yes, if he truly wants Claudia back, the first thing he got to do, not try to make amends with Claudia, not try to be performative with Claudia, make amends with the higher ups. Not talking about God and all the other entities. He has to do that.
And I don't disagree with what you're saying, but and actually this is work that he needs to continually be on, because I believe this has been problematic over his life. I believe that all that drug usage and everything that he did, a lot of that was because he was self-medicating for whatever hurt or rejection he was dealing with. In terms of Claudia, and what I was trying to say is that I don't see anything good by letting this man come back and have an opportunity to do this again. Whether he's changed behavior. Now, accountability, yes, I'm big on that, not just words, but when I say heavy-handed in the changed behavior, meaning that you need to work on self. We're saying the same thing. It might not just sound like it. Yes, you need to go and, number one, do it for you and do it for the fact that the Father has given you time and time again, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and you're continually fucking it up. It is not everybody else that's the problem. He is the problem.
Well, let me give you a real life example. So, it's not exactly like the Funky and Claudia situation because I'm not on TV. I'm not on like a public platform. But me and my homegirl that I grew up with fell out. And we're in the middle of a fallout. And the reason we're in the middle of a fallout is because every time I call her, she puts me on speakerphone. And granted, we grew up in the same hometown and we know the same people and stuff. But every time I call her and chop it up with her, we knew each other since we were 9 years old. And we're almost in our 40s now. But every time I call her and chop it up with her, she has me on speakerphone. And so I think I'm talking to her and all my business is out. And so like I think Claudia's grievance or issue with Funky might be like, damn, we were chilling and you just put my business out and shit. And so me and my homegirl are trying to work it out. And so she was like, let me call you. Let's talk and stuff like that. I was like, are you gonna put me on speakerphone? And she's like, well, I thought that all of we know the same people because we grew up in the same city. But she's like, well, I thought you were cool with everybody and stuff like that. I'm like, no, whatever I tell you is what I tell you.
Right.
It's not advertisement.
Right.
And so like she's trying to make a point like, well, the people I'm telling it to, like, they know you and they're not like, they don't have anything against you. But I'm like, no, I'm telling you, you don't tell my business. So me and her like are in a back and forth like actively right now. And so like I'm wondering like even what to do with that, like, because I don't want to cut her off because that's my bitch. We grew up together. But I feel like the situation with Claudia and Funky, not Claudia, Funky shared a lot of things about Claudia after he left TGIF. Like he spilled tea that didn't even need to be spilled. And
Mm-hmm.
so for Claudia to go back, and I was saying in the chat earlier that that video looked like they were at a fucking wedding reception. Like Claudia was sitting there smiling and looking like a bride. And I don't know if she was doing that because she was on camera and like trying to save face and not let her real thoughts show out on her face, because Claudia is very professional. And so she's not going to let what she feels show on her face. But she did challenge him a little bit after the speech, and she took the mic. When she took the microphone from him, she did share things. And then when Funky took the microphone back, he tried to kind of like revert back to, oh, well, like it was just games. And like I didn't understand that. Like, ugh, that just gets on my nerves. So I just want to share that portion.
Can we all at least agree to some degree? I'm not saying totally 1%, 2%, or 100%. That some bridges need to burn so the bigger bridge can be built that's going to cross us to our destiny.
Yeah, you need to
Absolutely.
you need to burn the
Yeah,
bridges. And then the
exactly.
thing is, do you think that I guess what's the level of forgiveness? Like when someone tells your business to people who don't need to know your business, like can you ever be friends again?
I don't
Or
know.
or hold on a second. Or if you decide that you don't want to be friends again, like how do you uniform yourself and control yourself and just kind of keep things marching on? I guess that's my question for the panel in the chat.
And well, before the panel answers that, and remember what Homebody just asked, I want to get our new panelists in the building to sound off, Lorraine and Naya. Lorraine, can you hear me? And if you can, welcome to the platform and sound off.
Hey, Conscious, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud, live, and in color. Welcome to the platform.
Okay, thank you for having me. I can't stay long. I'm
Okay,
currently on the job,
okay.
but I watch your show as much as I can
Thank you.
between work and everything.
Yes,
But I love your show.
thank you,
I
baby.
think you are hilarious,
Thank you, boo.
and you bring like such big talking points.
Mm,
As well with the chats too. When you
yeah,
drop the link and everybody comes
yes,
in. But
yes.
the only thing I wanted to say was I used to love watching TGI Fridays. I didn't miss an episode. And if
Mhm.
I did, I always watch the replay.
Yeah.
But I feel like Claudia should tread very lightly.
Mm,
Considering um the main thing that really pissed me off was when Al and Funky like kind of went in on Claudia like for no reason. And especially Funky after he left, he just really showed his behind. I ain't gonna say the ASS because I know you're trying to calm down on the cursing.
Yeah, a little bit.
So
Trying
a
to.
little bit, a little bit. But yeah, when Funky
Mhm.
left the show, he really showed his behind with
Yeah,
Claudia.
yeah,
And I feel like, like Homebody just said, he put some of her business out there that
yeah,
I don't think everybody should have known.
yeah,
That should have been between him and Claudia,
yeah,
not for the whole world.
yeah.
You know.
Mad, they be looking crazy for a lot of people. Mad, dang.
Mhm.
People get to burning up
Mhm.
books and dropping voice notes and releasing text messages and just telling all the people, like, ah,
Exactly, exactly.
only to have to come crawling back. That's crazy. That's wild work.
Yeah,
That's wild work.
right,
That's wild
right.
work.
Yeah, that's the wild part. Now
Yeah.
you want to come crawling back
Mm-mm.
after all that. You didn't even apologize, first of all, but
Mm-mm.
yet you finna put Claudia on the spot like that. I noticed the video. I think I was on Instagram
Mm-mm.
and I seen Funky Page, and that's when I saw the video because I
Mhm.
had no clue that they was in communication with each other, especially after
Yeah.
everything had went down.
Well, according to
But
Claudia, after they haven't been like, she didn't hear from him until the day before he made that flyer when he texted her,
ah,
yeah, to
I
his
see.
host at Essence, and she saw him, on the hosting. Yep, that's the only time they spoke.
Wow.
But now they are going to be having a full conversation tomorrow on her podcast with her other co-host. So that's going to be interesting to see what
Hmm.
what comes out of that dialogue. And if Funky's
Exactly.
going to have the real conversation, and if he's going to take real accountability, and if Claudia's going to hold him to the fire, if she's going to hold his feet to the fire, and if and look, if he was any kind of a man, if he was a piece of a man, she wouldn't even have to do nothing. He would clean that whole thing up on his own because it's really him that has to do the cleaning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Most
Yep.
definitely. This was not on Claudia at all. If anything, she was trying to help and put everybody on, but
And
at
he
the same
knows that,
time,
and that's exactly why he done come a crawling back. So
right, right,
so now he needs to really talk his part and and do the work there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
we empaths gotta learn, and it's okay because I'm learning it now, and I've learned to
Hmm.
thug it out in the heavenlies like I did in my prayer closet this morning. Some folks you got to cut the cord, cut the access off. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to stay mad at them because in sin and do all that stuff. Where we have to repent for what we got going on in relation to what happened. Well, we got to know how to just cut the access and move on. Some folks are to be in our life for a season. They don't get to do the revolving door thing and all of that. Hey, you've here for this
Mm-hmm.
moment. It was good while it lasted. When it went bad, it went terribly bad. I can
Yeah.
forgive you. I can love you from afar, from over there. I'm over here doing my
Mm-hmm.
thing, and the two should never come back together in between. I mean, because especially when you're living your life out in the publics, you're a public figure.
Right.
Like they are. Sir, and you got to be careful, and this is to anybody these days because I've learned this lesson and I'm finally getting it down in my sits bone. You just cannot share everything with everybody, period. And to the young lady that's worried about the friendship, why do I hear in the spirit that you're more afraid to mourning the loss of a friendship when this lady doesn't respect boundaries enough to keep a conversation that you all are having between the both of you?
That's a good question. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Can
Oh,
we can we can we let the other person talk and then because I got a mouthful. I feel like this about to turn
yeah.
into a
Because we only gonna
deliverance
have mhm.
ministry.
Because after Naya, I'm gonna clip it at the 2 hour mark. So we got literally like 7 minutes. So Anaya, hey boo.
Hello?
Hi boo. Welcome to the platform. Sound off, my love.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud, live, and in color. Welcome to the platform.
Okay. Hi. So I just really think that the reason why Funky Dineva is trying to get back in good
Hmm.
graces is because his money is funny. After he did all of that and the show got dismantled and him and Al had it and he was exposing Claudia and then even he spoke out against Armand as well. I just kind of feel like this is staged too. Like they wanted a little bit of publicity, don't you think?
Yeah, it definitely seems like a money grab, and it definitely seems completely self-serving. It's just no way of getting around that.
Right, because they know that people are going, the blogs are going to be talking. I honestly feel like if he was a real friend, he would have been contacted her and it wouldn't have had to been publicized. I think him doing this is bringing attention that he wants, you know?
Absolutely. And even if he wasn't even if he's not a real friend, right? But if you were sincere in anything that you've been
Right.
saying, if you were for real about it, obviously Claudia would have heard this before all of social media did. Obviously, you and her would have had an intimate conversation about, you know, the dealings and the one twos and the one twos and the one twos and the one twos. The fact that you've been using social media to fuel your agenda, to dog pile onto Claudia for a chick at this point you don't deserve, and she's yet to actually get a direct acknowledgement from you. She's yet to get a personal call. It's crazy. That is crazy.
And that's the one
It's
thing
so
that Funky
delusional.
always preaches about. Funky always preaches about subjects that are related to being real and being honest and being straightforward on his channel. Like he'll get on his channel and say, well, if this was me, well, it would be that, and that's all. And if a bitch want to apologize to me, then she better do this. He didn't do that. And so it's interesting that this video even came out. I don't know who released it. I'm
It
not
was her
sure.
friend. It was a Claudia friend who had attended this event with her, because Claudia
Oh.
didn't want to come along because she wasn't sure of kind of what the vibes was going to be. She didn't know what it was going to be. So her friend is recording us as it's happening.
Right, because
Oh,
if you,
okay. And not to cut you off, I just wanted to add, and I'll leave it to the other person who was speaking. But it's interesting that Funky talks about being genuine, having integrity, and treating people like they're people, because he talks a lot on his channel. If you follow his channel and his history, he talks a lot about being a gay man and not having respect and integrity and stuff. And so he likes to, you know, share his experience and preach about treating people the right way. And so I just can't find where he treated Claudia the right way. Like, I think it was more so, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even gonna hold it. I think that he just liked the money. Like, I don't
hello.
think that it was genuine or anything, because if it was genuine, you would have hit her up. If that's your homegirl, then that's your homegirl for real. Like, you will go to her house and just check in, like, hey, girl, you okay? Or call her, like, hey, girl, you okay? Like, I don't, he, and prior to TGIF, he acted like they had a relationship and stuff like that. Like, he messed with Claudia. And so I don't exactly understand how this was shocking, I guess, for Claudia, because if that's your homegirl, wouldn't she have known?
Look, at the very least, if he was for real, she would have known. I want to make sure that Naya got all of her talking points out, and then we can get to rumors.
I'm almost finished. I just want to say, relating back to what the lady,
Homebody. Mm-hmm.
the person was saying before, I just feel like when she was asking like who recorded it or who took the video, if
Yeah.
you listen, he said, and Tasha K could post this, because you know Tasha K got her own blog.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
already,
he did say that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after that, it already told me what he needed. He
His
needed a
MO
moment,
was.
a viral moment, and he got his moment. But also, careless to say, Dineva fell out with pretty much everybody he was close
Yeah.
with. Everybody, all the way from Michelle ATM,
Yeah.
CL, all the way from Armand. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's just that type of person. But I mean, when people show you who they are, you know,
Leave
it's
them
time.
eventually. Yeah.
But that's it. You have a good night.
Thank you so much, Anaya. Look at all the conscious crew, baby. I love the conscious crew. Okay. Rumors and T, I know you are boiling up over there, so let it all out, child.
Yes, but no, I want to be respectful of the time because we're almost 2 hours.
Take it away,
So,
baby.
so first and foremost, with your permission, I just want to tell because Homebody looks like, what sounded like she needed advice. I'm happy to announce with much, counseling and therapy from Conscious, I will be officially starting to do like a help desk segment on my Instagram live and YouTube channel.
Period.
Where I will keep everybody posted on the debut date and everything, where you can hit me up, have a conversation, get advice,
Yes.
whatever it is that you need, maybe just one event, whatever.
That's amazing, Rumors.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for this.
Thank you. And so yeah, because I feel like people, we sometimes, even if you don't, not necessarily looking for advice, sometimes you just want to make sure that you're not losing your shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we walking around in the twilight zone, and sometimes if you like Ripley's Believe It or Not experiences rotating on Groundhog Day, like, the fuck, am I experiencing this or not? Am I the crazy one? Now, what, excuse the language, but am I the person that's losing my marbles? Like, what's happening? I find a lot of us are going through these experiences, so it's always good to have open dialogue with people that can relate and that can actually speak to your experience and give some advice. Hopefully that can help you. um to Homebody, I have to echo Sin when she said that it sounds like you're having a difficult time detaching yourself from someone that you possibly need to detach yourself from. um Honestly, I can say that it shouldn't have happened. Your business shouldn't have been discussed with anyone other than the two of you, unless it's someone in your friend group. And even with that, knowing who you are in relationship to, knowing that person, you would know what to do, not to do, what I mean, as far as disclosing anything. So what that says to me is that either this person, no matter how long you guys have had this friendship, this person either does not know you or just totally did not consider you. And
No, I think
either
what it
way,
is that we grew up in the same state, same neighborhood, everything, but we went separate ways. Like, I went off to college, went off, moved to another state, you know, got my degree, got successful and stuff. And she ended up getting pregnant by like the neighborhood bum
well, wait a
nigga.
minute, hold on.
I don't want
Let
to
me cut
call him
you
that.
off. Yeah. No, let me cut you off because this is a reality too. What you're doing, what you are about to do is probably the same thing she did to you. And even if the intention did not come from a malicious place, like with yourself, you're not trying to be malicious. You're trying to give more of an understanding. But that's what I mean. Like, sometimes people just do not consider others in their dialogues, even in their actions, just do not consider the other person enough. And what I'm saying to you is that in that possibility, I think that when it comes to friendships of value, when there's a breakdown in the friendship, I think that a conversation needs to be had. And I think boundaries need to be established. I think standards need to be established, and letting a person know who you are and what you stand for. And once you identify that, the only way they can show you that they receive it, respect it, and they want you in their life is by changing their behavior. We don't know, like, when you give yourself freely to a person without making them earn it, usually they don't value it. It's very rare to have someone value something they have not earned. Okay. And so, because of that, when there is breakdown, the proper thing to do, if it's someone that you cherish, is to make them earn it. You make them earn your place in their life. I don't think that there's anything to sit back and contemplate on other than how do I make this person earn me? What are your standards? What are your boundaries? Is what you would have to contemplate on. But if they show you that they want it, they're gonna earn it. They're gonna do the work. It's just that simple. But don't drive yourself crazy trying to figure out something when a person has already shown you who they are, no matter what the reason is, no matter what the intent is. That's how I believe, and that's how I am living my current life when it comes to people that are in my life. And I think from the wisdom that I have gained and experience, I think that actually will be beneficial, not just for me, but for others as well. You don't have to necessarily do it exactly like how I'm doing it, but the overall, just like scent, echo and scent. Everybody's not meant to be in your life for the long haul. And that is okay. But whether it's short term or long term, make them earn it. Once you give it freely and they don't value it, you make them earn it.
And on that
And I'm
note, guys,
going back
we gotta
in.
get up out of here. But that was a great feedback. Rumors is going to keep you guys updated via this platform on the Rumors and Tea help desk. Okay, y'all can bring all y'all trauma and drama and all y'all issues to her
Is that
front
what
desk, baby.
the YouTube is called? The Rumors and Tea Help Desk?
No, it's just
You don't
rumors
have
and
a
tea.
Can
Rumors
you
name.
and
drop the
tea.
link
Do
for
you have a name
your
yet,
channel, Rumors?
Rumors, from your show?
It's no, it's gonna
No.
remain rumors and tea. And you know, if it be the will, and it will be the will, it will before the month is out, I will debut. And I will just keep you all posted
Yes.
with that.
We gotta come back. Oh, we got a hot topic to get. Oh, damn, my laptop down too. So we got a hot topic to get into, and we gotta do a Dear Nicki Minaj video. Nicki Minaj is really going through it right now, and we gotta talk about all
Girl,
the
fuck Nicki Minaj.
that's going on.
All right, good
There's a
night,
lot going
y'all.
on. I'm trying to
I'll
get
see
this
y'all
video live.
later.
I'm all right, boo. I see. Thanks everybody for coming up, you guys. So once again, there's going to be a conversation on Claudia's podcast with her co-host. Oh my God, my laptop is down. Let me get this shit going. Hold on, y'all. I will be tuning in for those of you who aren't going to be, and I will be bringing you guys the data and the details and the facts and my perspective, of course, because I am a commentator, so I do get paid to give my motherfucking opinion. All right, so we'll be getting into that. It seems like the majority of the census is telling Claudia to run, girl. Run for the hills, baby. Okay. Run for the hills, child. So we'll see what happens. Claudia and Funky may just recover socially, but keep, the lines where they are professionally, or Claudia may press the gas, girl. We will be seeing what takes place. We're going to come back and get into Miss Onika and all other things. I love you all. If you guys enjoyed yourself, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And of course, you guys know what you can do. You can always donate to Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. But once again, please thumbs up the video we need, or the likes. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Ciao.